up a seat at the bar to join us for another episode of McAnally's Pubcast, a podcast exploring the fun and fantastical mind of Jim Butcher's The Dresden Files series. Hosts Tanzan, Jess, and Maggie bring you another round of literary analysis on this immense, immersive, and colorful environment inhabited by Harry Dresden, the world's only licensed private investigator and professional wizard. Join an active and engaged community of new and die-hard dedicated fans focused on the fabulous themes, theories, characters, context, lore, and more. This is McAnally's Dresden Files Pubcast by Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by it at your own risk.
Welcome to the McAnally's Pubcast, brought to you by Free Flow Rambling. This is episode 15.2, Venerated Shoggoth, where we are covering the graphic novel Warcry. My name is Tanzan, and I am joined by Maggie.
Hello, hello.
And Jess.
The OG bastard offspring.
Says the youngest one here.
Issue 2. Harry takes control and begins to fortify the house. The Baron Bravosa offers Harry safe passage to leave, but not with the Venatori. Harry denies and finds out that the Venatori are housing the offspring of an outsider, a Shoggoth.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting how we start off here, because he's all like, yeah, fortify the windows. Let's block this shit up and give them less. And Ramirez and them go for the bookcases, and the one older kid's like, but the books. I'm like, dude, I am right there with you. Don't throw the books on the floor. Like,
How to appeal to your common denominator.
Right. But yeah, it's just hilarious. I'm like, we have literal blood-sucking psychopaths trying to get in here. And you're like, but yeah, so they get all that done, and the vampires don't start blasting them with like automatic ammunition. They just start chucking rocks at them. Which, granted, thrown with enough speed and force.
A vampire is able.
As a vampire, I mean, you look at the baseball shit, man, and like hockey pucks, right? They're winging those things around at 80, 90, 100 miles per hour or whatever, right? So, yeah. It would be, but it's just kind of funny that they're like, we don't need anything else. We will literally just chuck rocks at you.
And it's great because they've got this natural resource, and like the guys
the
inside with the guns don't have limited, or they don't have unlimited
ammo. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have to carry the rocks here with them. They've got a whole quarry of them.
Which is right, yeah.
So the guys inside are definitely like in a bad situation. They're going to be low on ammo soon. They don't have the firepower. They don't have the resources, and then they have to at least survive for 11 hours, which is not really feasible for what's already happening
in North America. Where's this like 2 hours of nighttime and get the sun back? No, you got fucking dark all day, dark all night.
Yeah, and like Harry, like you said last episode, that Harry knows something's up, that the Venatori are hiding something. Because he's like, what are they after? And I know that they're after something, because otherwise you'd just be dead.
Yeah.
Like, they want something.
If they just wanted to kill people, yeah. So exactly, we know. And so, yeah. So lo and behold, while they're dodging all these rock attacks, all of a sudden, and man, fucking poor Wild Bill. You should have stayed hidden, little warden. Yeah, right. Gets pissed off, goes to zap him, and he literally gets supernatural fucking aim. This is what I wanted to see. You just got yourself a little ball-bearing slingshot there, Tanzan. I want you to be able to take out someone's hand through a window.
You used to be able to do that with a bow.
That's how good your aim has to be. That would also have been very effective. But yeah, literally, like, and you can see, like, he's fucking, like, broken, not just, like, broken his hand. It's, like, bleeding and everything. I was like, I definitely can see you, like, smushing it with the rock. But yeah, the fact that he managed to break it so badly that it's like bleeding and everything, I'm like, I don't know.
You know, this new Billy the Kid. He is just as dramatic and sad as every wizard before him. They all just turn into like suicide cases. They're like, what's the point? Just leave me here. I'll fight them off. It's like, all right.
It's called nobility and bravery, Jessica.
They're like these 21-year-olds that are just like, I got this, guys. Go on without me. It's like, okay,
They certainly don't have a control over their emotions. Like, that is definitely...
Yeah, screw that. I would have been like, take me with you.
And that's totally a thing, because wizards have to control they have to put their emotion into their spells. They have to really believe what they're doing. So a lot of wizards probably do wear their emotions on their sleeve. And it's like,
all right.
just feel like the council would have like a therapist in place. Like, okay, maybe Harry
Yeah,
can't go to
because
Edinburgh
it's-
all the
okay,
time,
I
but
was
the
gonna
rest of you guys,
Well, let's see, because there's some of their influence. Like, Morgan doesn't exactly keep a fucking lid on his emotions, does
no.
I was gonna say there's nothing the council is more well known on than their care of like mental health of their people. And like, is everybody doing okay? They're like, no, just keep fucking pushing until we
Wizards
get
don't have to do status quo.
right, exactly.
Social norms be damned.
But yeah, they're busy getting wailed on by rocks and concerned about ammo, and then lo and behold, Warden. I think that's their leader.
Well, this is the thing that I think is actually really cool is that now in this moment where you get to see it, as we heard from the last novel when Lucio was telling him, like, bro, like the wardens, the new wardens, they all think you're cool as fuck. All the apprentices, they like grew up in an age where they're on your side and they think the way you think and they're blah, 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 influenced by the things and choices that you make. And now to see like a very small fraction of it, although most of them not in part of this fraction are dead, but still, to actually see Harry.
The White Council's like, yeah, we lost a bunch, but you know, it was all the new guys that liked Harry, so really.
Yeah, right. But still, for the three that we've got in this case, to actually be able to witness their quote-unquote hero and, like, see it in action versus just a story and be like, holy shit, this motherfucker is... Because these guys...
It's not all exaggerated. He does fucking mouth off to everyone.
Ramirez is the only eyewitness account from the T-Rex moment or whatever like this. This is now another two people who get to really witness him and be like, this guy's fucking crazy.
Right? Completely and totally. And and they're all like, you can't go out there. And he's like, well, of course I'm going to go out there. And Ramirez is like, dude, are you serious? He's like, Ramirez, chill. I know it's a ruse. I know it's a trap. But anything that buys his time. Meanwhile...
If anything Harry is good at, it is distractions and buying time.
But it's also fair. Harry has this insight here. It's like, yeah, Ramirez doesn't want me to die, but also Ramirez is next in line to be in charge. He doesn't want to be in charge of this problem, which is also very fair.
And I also get that. Where are you going? Don't leave me here. No, this is your problem. You always want to have someone to pass the buck to.
Exactly.
So, but he's like, you want to go take a look around? Like, I feel like there's more here than just a bunch of professors hanging out in the woods.
Well, again, the question is still, why this house? Why these people? What research do they have that is so...
Yeah, why are you not dead? Like, let's figure this out.
Which I get to a point, but... skewing slightly from that, it always bugs me, and I feel like it was somewhere just recently, I don't know, I watched like the Venom movies and stuff recently, but where this seems to be a common thing, and it's popped in, and he's like, why now? Why? I'm like, I don't know, maybe because they just fucking find out about it now, you know? They're like, why didn't they come and attack this place like 10 years ago? Like, there's always like some importance to the events of the story.
They've been in Sicily, okay? Take them a minute.
But I'm always like, I don't know, because maybe they didn't fucking find out about it then. Maybe they didn't, maybe their plans weren't all fun. Like, it's always like that in like the mystery novels and things like that.
I have that
exact
exact same issue and complaint for something borrowed. We'll get there.
Well, see, that's the issue with like the 2020 hindsight. Like, there's like the psychological phenomenon that once you, in a period of time, you actually do have the moment to look back and go, oh, I could have done this differently, but you couldn't have because you weren't
thinking that
2020
at that time.
hindsight. Like none of us can.
You didn't have the input. Well, that's what I just mean, though, right?
Sort of have to see that in literature when they're in the time frame. They are not reflecting back.
No, but they always make it sound like it's such a huge clue, though. That's what I mean, right? They're like, why did the fairies pick right now to trip off this? There must be and it's like, no, that happened because this was like the first opportunity Buddy had to shove the guy down the stairs. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a whole lot of more random cacophony.
There's so much more, and they're all like, there's a like, why are they revealing themselves now? Why are they making this move
now?
Just a
why thing for like TV and books and things versus real life is like, there is no such thing as coincidence. When you have an author and director,
it is. I know, but it's just so
life,
annoying sometimes. Like, sometimes you get certain things are right. They'd be like, hey, why did, this international jewel thief suddenly turn up now? Oh, look, there's an international jewel coming into town. Okay, right, but so many times
that's the challenge for being an author is that you have to add extra shit then.
It is, but it's just so funny. Like, I'm like, I don't know, just don't say it. Don't bring that. Who cares why it happened now? Just don't make that a point because that's not relative. There's you have to find a million other reasons why It just is, you know what I mean? But I was like, yeah. Anyways, yes, a personal pet peeve I have sometimes with the, like, there's so much more significance to what's probably got no significance at all.
More significance to just say, wow, it's really lucky that I was in town this weekend when it happened and went down.
Exactly.
Literary function to make that plot line go.
Which, since you brought up Stargate last episode, one of my favorite, I think it's like in season like 10 or something like that, but it's when O'Neill is gone. They've got a couple of new ones. They've got Vala and Cam and stuff like that. But yeah, basically somebody comes in and they're like, we want to make a TV show about this. And the whole episode is just like spoofs of like Star Trek and Farscape and all this kind of stuff. And it's great. And so yeah, they have this one plot where they're like, yeah, trapped on a planet and they're like in this thing and they're like, how are we going to get from here to like the spaceship? There's like literally like an army of bad guys in between us. And then it like cut scenes and they're like creeping up to the thing and they're like, wow, that was easier than I thought. And they're just making like a whole like making fun of the fact that like TV, like we don't know how we're going to get out of this, so we're just going to skip the actual action scene. It'll just be all of a sudden the good guy is like has made it to the other side.
You don't have a budget to show you how
we don't have a budget, or we can't figure out how, so we're just going to, yeah, you're going to have to imagine that they found key cards and things and whatever. But it's just like so funny. But I was like, yeah, it's just like that. They're like, oh, we don't know how to solve this problem we painted ourselves into, so we'll just skip over it. Boom, all of a sudden we're through.
Done.
And done. Moving on.
Well, luckily for us, while Harry does go have this talk with Bravosa, Ramirez does do his snooping.
And it's your very typical bad guy talk. Give up now and we'll spare you. And he's like, okay. So everybody gets to go, no, they're just ordinary mortals. We're totally going to eat them, but you and your friends can go.
Okay.
You can replace them.
So between Baron and Harry, how they sort of insult each other, and then Harry tells him he's wearing a cape.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Legit, they're wearing the fucking same jacket.
Thank you. Yes, they are. That is what I find.
And unless that cape comment like comes from something else, like you honestly, cheesy
scarf. Cheesy
would have worked better
scarf.
but then a cape. He's not wearing a cape. He's literally got another fucking leather jacket that looks almost like a duster. Just
I was going to say, because I remember
the mantle.
Right? Because, yeah, exactly. When he's, like, making this comment, and I was like, is he? And I kind of had to go, and I was like, yeah, no. I was like, no, he's got the big, long, flappy.
The rest of the Wardens are wearing the closest
They're
thing to
wearing
capes.
cloaks.
Like,
yeah, their cloaks are much more. But, yeah, exactly. No, I guarantee. And that was totally funny because, again, because they put Harry in, and I mean, it's even
the same
color
scheme,
and everything. And
like,
it's not even
down to
like
the
Harry's
pants
got
and
his
the
black
shirt,
leather. It's like
they're wearing the same outfit, except he's got a cheesy scarf.
Yeah, it's just Harry's can button like all the way down and has a belt, whereas his like basically the front part stops at the waist and is just long in the back. But yeah, no, I 100% agree. I had the exact same
your
point.
Insults do not have an effect today when you're wearing the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah.
So we already figure out, though, just from their dialogue, that Bravosa is pretty intelligent. He already knows that Harry's just outright just trying to buy time. Like, he's like,
we're not going to stand around
I know
here.
what you're doing. Like, whatever.
I know that you know that I know you know that I know that you know.
I read the Villain's Handbook about you.
Overlord's list.
Remember that dossier? I read it too.
Yeah. So yeah, Harry's like, no deal. If we can't take all the people out, we're not taking any of them out. We die all together or we don't.
And this is even more funny to me because assuming Bravosa knows what's in the house and that what's in the house is the only thing he wants, that's the perfect deal. Harry doesn't even know what they're defending. All he wants is to take the people. Like, Bravosa should have been like, deal.
That
walk away. Yeah. Perfect, yeah.
I was going to say, that was dumb for his
But he is Baron Bravado.
I promised all the vampires they'd get a snack. It's not fair if I take it away from them.
They're not even like special like you wizard guys. They are just plain mortals. There's a dime a dozen. We're totally going to make them pay for getting what we want.
But still, this is just so stupid to me. I'm like, if you know that there's a fucking Shoggoth in the basement, and we know that Harry doesn't find out for another couple pages,
even if you don't, even if it's like a book, like even if you don't know exactly what's in there, you want some book or some art of, unless it's like
that's what I mean. Information, intel from the people is the only reason to keep them specifically alive, and not like
and
set
it
the house
doesn't
on
seem
fire.
like that's what you want. So exactly. It should have just been like, okay,
great,
take
leave, perfect.
make a bit of a henning and hawing about it, like, oh, but how about just like two of them, and but no, he just instantly, it's like
there must be something
dumbasses.
like he assumes that
there must be a reason. I'm not like
No. We'll get into it because like Harry doesn't know the Shoggoth is there yet, but like this guy knows that's there. But I think he also assumes that one of the Venatori controls the Shoggoth, and so he needs the Venatori in order to take control of it as well. That's my thoughts.
Maybe
that's something, but I guess that has to do with how much information you have about outsiders.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, obviously...
Which is also going to contradict what I think later.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so even as they get on it, and Harry's pointing out, and he's like, they want to control it for themselves kind of a thing. So if there's whatever they figured out to link it to Catherine here, I'm like, they're probably just going to try, like, I don't think they were planning on having her send this thing out. They're going to link it to one of their guys or just set it loose on...
Well, yeah, they've put it under her protection, really, not control.
To keep it like in stasis or whatever, right? So exactly, I was like, I feel like...
Because there's not a lot of reason to keep the Venatori.
No, because that's what I'm saying, is like, there is maybe a speck of...
If they don't know about
truth
the
or whatever, but like you say, I'm like, if he just wants it to like wreak havoc on that planet, which is pretty much all the vampire, then he's like, I don't need the chick controlling it. So you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's got no reason to keep.
So is the binding like, what does the binding mean then? Because like it's bound to somebody?
Yeah. So
I have questions. Like, this is why I'm asking this, because later, like.
Okay, well, can I also just point out while we're talking about crazy graphics? So like right after Harry goes back in the house, and you've got. Who is she? No, Shazam.
Catherine.
No.
Okay, the blonde is Ishenko.
Ishenko. Doing this crazy, like, over the head, backwards, out the window.
Do you know what? Have you ever shot a shotgun? That does not fucking work.
If it was a handgun, sure, but
maybe.
That shot is going straight into the sky.
I'm just thinking, like, anytime I've tried to do, like, a behind the back, like, pool, and even that's, like...
Right. I know when I shot a shotgun for the first time, I knew it was going to have recoil, and I had it braced hard against my shoulder, and it still had enough push and recoil that I had a bruise on my shoulder. So that, like, fuck off. She's not going to have that in her hand. It is going to go straight up, like, with the momentum of the shot. Like, no.
Those aren't, like, silicone. Those are, like, stainless steel boobs, and it just completely absorbs the entire...
She is Iron Woman.
You know, that she's like, I can just, like, la-di-da-di-da. She's like, I'm not actually trying to hit anything. I'm just trying to, you know, it's just, like, splatter spray.
Yeah, physics don't work for me there.
But yeah.
There are times I'm willing to go with it, but that one I'm not.
And even the fact that she's doing like a sit crouch against the wall while I'm like, dude, it's hard enough to do a sit. What is it called? A sit stand? A sit still? No, what do you call it?
Wall sit.
Wall sit. Thank you. Just a wall sit. But let alone twisting backwards and firing a shotgun. Yeah.
The worst part is like, look at the frame above. Like, she's against the wall. So why does she have to crouch under it and overhand it? Like, just turn around.
I want to be a part of the conversation in the room.
Catherine doesn't have tights on.
It's a much more dramatic pose, I say.
Oh, wait, God, it's talking.
Because, you know,
it was a graphic
lift
novel.
Your hands above your head. Poses. What happens to your, tatas?
Bend and snap.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much.
Right. And then again, you get your typical comic speak. Harry, I found something terrible. Come and look. Can you tell me what it is? It should be here. Okay, but what is it?
Now Catherine steps up.
You can't go down. I didn't notice that you even though, like, when Harry says it, you see again this big dramatic scene of, like, Ramirez, superhero running, cloak flying through the middle of the living room, but apparently she hasn't noticed he's gone off to look for stuff. And only now that he's bringing Harry back, she's like, wait, you can't go down there.
Right. Oh, well, yeah. I could see him slipping away and her not noticing because there's a lot of fucking shit going on.
There was.
But like, assuming that he already suddenly knows that.
It's just funny that she puts so much resistance up now. He clearly already knows, bro.
He already knows. He already checked it out. But yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like, yeah, I totally believe it. And we have to assume that he did sort of slip away. But again, with the actual graphics, you have like this big superhero pose of him all like launching through the, like, nobody missed Ramirez flying out of here like Captain Jack Harkness or something, like. But yes, now he's going to yell at her and be like, I don't care, I'm going down there anyways.
This is exactly what we've been saying, though. It's like, why did you even ask the Wardens for help if you weren't going to tell them what the fuck was up and why they were here? Like, I want your help, but under no circumstances will I tell you why or
was
how.
Their original goal was to bring them, like, to take them away or to just protect? I forget.
The original directions just say to, like, either go and evacuate before nightfall, or if you don't, fight all night long.
Yeah,
Which
I think it was. I think they were supposed to evacuate.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was the hope.
They wouldn't have anyways based on what was in there. So
well,
it was
she can't.
not going to work even if
Yeah,
they showed
she
up on
can't
time.
go that far
That's
from.
what makes the order suspicious.
Right.
That again, it's like every, trope kind of a thing that it's like when in the history of anyone ever coming to someone's rescue, has it been good to not tell them what you're protecting, why you can't go, why, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what movie, sci-fi, superhero, crime drama, you know what I mean? Every time they're like, oh no, I'm like, just fucking tell us and 3 more people would have had to die. Like, why do you let half the people die and then be like, okay, so really there's this going on. Okay, well, thank you very much. Now we can actually fucking protect people because we know what the fuck we're dealing with.
Right.
Like, right? Again, just the I can't tell you. Or almost as good as the I don't have time to tell you. Yes, you do. And the amount of time you've been screaming, take 2 more seconds to tell me what the problem is. So we go down and down and down, and there's a lot more fucking stairs than there should be. So many, I can't even hear the vampires throwing rocks anymore.
This whole house is a OSHA violation.
Yeah. Can I see your building codes? When was the last time you guys had an inspector out here?
Well, see, this looks like when you look at that staircase with the actual, when they finally see the
I know.
Shoggoth, like that looks like industrial, not like a house. Like this is industrial shit again. So this
Right.
They've been slowly taking apart the stuff in the carry and just carrying it over because it's easier to walk 5 feet into your backyard than the town of.
Well, that's what's funny, because as he's going down the stairs and can't see, right, you see they're in a typical cellar-esque type concrete, until,
See, it would have been better if this was like a bunker.
They go, right, they go down,
Because then it would still be a house and not an industrial spot next to a quarry.
They made a bunker under the house. The house was first, then they're like, you know what?
This is a very impractical.
We're Venatori. We're just...
The weirdest part is like the one guy in town who sells lumber, and he's like, why does this one household need 80,000 billion steps?
It hasn't even they haven't added on anything.
Oh, no, this is all like cinder block. Like this is.
Well,
I know, but I'd be assuming that my neighbors are...
The masons are just
there's
like,
gotta be
what
someone,
the fuck? The firewall thing on this is
I'd
just
fully be like, yeah, they're
stupid.
end of days, like apocalypse truthers.
Yeah, we're not going to take ourselves to a bunker.
So-
we will bring the bunker to us. Okay, we have a house.
This really just has
It
to
makes
be
way
like an
more
industrial
sense to
site.
build
Yeah,
a
something,
$3 million sub-level bunker underneath.
They're
than
just really lucky that their grandfather was like too miserly to actually rebuild a proper house and was just like, I'm just going to convert the upstairs. It's fine.
Fine.
It's fine. Again, they are surrounded by forests, so they may have just deforested their entire land to make the they actually had to buy very little
They've
lumber.
been doing their own log
They're
splitter.
they just plane this shit down to planks.
They're all Amish. They're just out in the middle of nowhere. It's like we do it all ourselves. Okay, no electricity. Wood burning
Like,
stove.
seriously, look at the fan work even. Like, this is
Yeah.
industrial shit. Like,
Yeah, when they get down to that
got
room.
pipes and shit.
But that's what I love, is they're going down through this normal, like you say, blocked-in stairwell, because he can't see and he doesn't know. And then, you finally get out and it's this ginormous room and you still have 17 levels of stairs to go down.
Yep.
While you can see this thing, like you say, on the rickety old fire escape stairs down the...
I'm kind of living for it. It's just so fucking random.
Right?
Like the Venatori just is like, this place is fucking gold! Yes!
Maybe that's what the rock maze is for. They've just been...
Imagine the real.
We've been mining gold, and now we
Find
can... We have trees, lumber, gold, shit. We're not giving up this property for anything. And now we have, supernatural, out of this reality, alien shit,
We'll just
too.
find out they actually just dug the Shoggoth out of the quarry itself, and that's what
Yeah, it's just always been
they
right
just actually
there like that.
moved it in there and then built a house above it.
Okay, Catherine, how did this come to be? Tell us everything you know.
I didn't want to do it. They made me.
So she clearly is already an adult woman. This wasn't entrusted to her grandfather and then her parents and then her. This clearly
Right.
had to have come within only the last few
2
years.
months earlier.
Right? This can't have been a lifelong
Yes.
project or anything like that, right? So did it just grow to that size in the matter of weeks or months and then get frozen? Because it seems to be frozen in this basement here, right?
Well, I don't think it's exactly...
Yeah, I mean, it could be magical.
I'm assuming it's more of a magically kind... I guess,
I mean,
sort
on
of.
the wall, it looks like they've got 3 air conditioners, so maybe.
I was going to say, it does look kind of Fortress of Icy but it doesn't look like it's completely encased in it either. So, yeah, it's a little bit hard to say. I assume there was more of a magical force field stasis kind of a thing happening with it.
Open up the Never Never in the sub basement. Shove a outsider spawn through it. Close up the gate. Have fun, Catherine.
Yeah, right? Again, is it one of these things like, well, yeah, we just boxed it up in a magic, amulet to get it here, and then, now it's just, like, let loose in this basement because we can't contain it in there forever.
But exactly, and it's like, okay.
I just stuck it in my pocket to bring it here. Meanwhile, some random dude, I never saw his face. Okay, Hagrid, would you like a dragon with that?
In the middle of a snowstorm.
In the middle of a snowstorm, it's just like, you have to take this and be bound to it. And she's like, I don't really want to. Well, you have to. Okay, bye.
It's just the weirdest buzzwords. It's like White Council, duty bound, bye. And it's just like, okay.
She's like, all right, I guess I'm committed. I trust. I mean, obviously she's not happy with it, but she doesn't.
It's already been bound to you. No takesy back.
Yeah, pretty much. She's
does the White Council just like completely brainwash, like using not magical means?
Not even White Council. They're
like brain the Venatori to like do their bidding.
Yeah, well that's what I mean. It's even worse, right? It's like you're not even part of the fucking cult or whatever. You're just like an ally to that. You guys are supposed to be your own thing. But when the White Council, like exactly, that's like your magic buzzword right there. White Council, okay, I will do whatever you want, no questions asked. Even though you guys have a whole entire set of rules.
Tactics, so they don't get busted for mind control.
Right? Literally, it's like the fucking like sleeper agent code word. It's just like White Council, stop asking questions. Okay.
Yeah.
I like how, and I don't like this at all, how she's like immediately cuddled up to him as she tells her story. Like, it's so dramatic.
I know that
like,
too.
You were about to go toe to toe with him to keep this secret, and now you're like, it's been so hard, Harry.
I didn't want
it's
to.
like a 1950s like movie trope right there. Wow, it's me. I am so happy.
Yeah,
and he fucking lives for it.
Please protect me, Mr. Dresden.
Yes, I am big and strong, and I shall protect you.
Thank you for giving me your cause, a woman in need. Finally.
I was thinking about letting you guys all die and just trading you off, but no, now you've hit that button. So now I'm like, I guess I will have to stay and protect you. Yeah.
Ultra black security protocols, like
ultra. Yeah.
Black.
What kind of name is that?
Black.
That's what I was gonna say. It was like the White Council, who has all of these rules that nobody can ever break, except when the council wants to, any fucking time they want, with anybody they want, at any time they want.
It happens to me.
It's like
blacks.
Rules for thee and not for me.
Right? Like it's not even just black staff. Now we're like, this guy.
As we have learned with Harry, okay? You can break any rule you want as long as you can keep a secret.
Yeah, well, like I say, it was like, no wonder Harry's like, you guys are a pile of hypocritical garbage, like, right? Well, they decided to dump this thing that cannot exist in our reality. And I'm like, okay, they said I had to. I'm sorry, officer, I'm just holding it for a friend.
Okay, if it's an outsider's offspring, does it mean it's also, like, partially, like, from this?
It's gotta be, because we don't know what it's...
We don't know what that means.
We don't know what they...
Like, what
the other
with
half...
an outsider that's from...
I assume it's just
like
almost like Greek mythology. It's like
spawned fully formed from the
Well, like when like Zeus had when Hera had a child, it was like the fucking...
Or like Athena that burst from his
usually
head or something.
No, but like half their children were like other gods and half their children were like, the Kraken or the fucking like Cyclops or the sometimes their children are gods and sometimes their children are monsters.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like the outsiders are just like, they're just like expelling things and it's like, oh, this one has like 800 teeth and eyes. Monster.
Bad, yeah.
Lilith from Supernatural, that like is the mother of monsters.
Yeah, same idea, yeah. I think, Hera was supposed to be like mother of monsters in Greek mythology, right?
Genghis
so
Khan.
same idea. He's just a cool guy.
But again, apparently everybody is descended from him.
Yes.
Lilith and Hera and Genghis Khan. They are all the actual...
We will not make the association with monsters, though, for that line.
Yes, no. Just the
association. I just meant it's like the origin of creation. Everybody's related to this. Sorry, that came up in conversation the other day, which is why it was on my mind. But don't ask how it came up in conversation either. That's none of your business. But yeah, we don't know but yeah, it's a very good question. Is this kind of like an asexual spawning, or did this thing that is not part of our reality managed to combine.
I assume that we use the word offspring as just the easiest term, and it's more just like,
So you don't think it actually...
it hacked off an arm, and now we've got the Shoggoth left. Like,
Well, because that was the thing, like, at least, I don't know, I think it's kind of in this too, but I remember more vividly from Buffy mythology, right, is that's what they say, is that the demons were all banished, and then the demons bit someone, and then that spawned all the other demons as we know them, kind of a thing, right? So, yeah, was it one of those things, like, did it actually have to mix with something from the something, or, is it just, like you say, it left its toenail clippings around?
I think it's more like River Song in that it was like bred or hatched or whatever in our world, and so it just got the properties enough to live in our world. So it's still mostly outsider, but outsider that can breathe oxygen, or however the fuck you want to work it, you know?
Interesting.
River Song was like conceived on a time jumping TARDIS, so she just gets Time Lord powers because the fetus got all fucked up in womb. You know, the outsider cut off an arm or shed itself, laid an egg, however the fuck it works in our world. So now it's just not the same.
Eventually, the cows of India.
So environmental factors have made it.
Nurture versus nature, sort of.
Yeah.
Evolutionary adaptation. The cows in India are just going to have eyeballs on their butts going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, they return upstairs, and Harry gives them 5 minutes to get their shit together. And then they're going to fight like hell.
Okay, stop everything you're doing. We have to keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly, right? I'm like,
okay, thanks, Harry.
I don't need 5 minutes then. I got 5 seconds, good to go.
I was going to say, this makes me laugh in Hell's Kitchen every time, too. And I get sort of like why he does it, right? Somebody fucks up something and he's like, okay, point it out, like, you guys are fucking up. But I think it's just hilarious because it's like, shit's being like overcooked. And he literally makes everybody stop, leave their station, come over. Okay, so the fish isn't done. Just tell us the fish isn't done or call the fish guy over. But, right? I'm always
but
like,
that
I'm
doesn't
like,
make good TV.
It doesn't make good TV, but it's hilarious because I was like, okay, so what else is burning over there now while you made everybody come over here while you yell at them, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, so everybody stop what you're doing. Guess what? The situation's really bad. Okay, let's all go defend ourselves. Thanks, Harry. We're already fucking doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you to our Patreon subscribers for your generous support. It's people like you who help us do what we do. If you're not yet a Patreon subscriber, sign up today and get a fuck ton of bonus content, kick-ass merch, behind-the-scenes outtakes, and more. Sign up today at patreon.com/freeflowrambling. Issue 3. The Wardens fiercely battle to defend the Venatori Stronghouse, while inside, the Venatori fend off a human mercenary. Just as the Wardens begin to lose steam, another breed of vampire arrives in the fray.
So apparently we're gonna teleport back just a couple years.
Flashback to
5,091
BC.
Ooh, that's a long way away.
With a solitary warrior pleading to King Hammurabi to advise everyone should run and get the fuck out.
I was going to ask for help, but now I realize that's just dumb. Run. Fucking run, okay? Oh, too late. You spent all this time being dramatic about telling us what's going on, and now it's here.
I mean, like, this guy, real guy from history, big fucking deal, pretty much brought all of Mesopotamia under his rule. And then gets like a fucking outsider sicked on him. What? That's not fair.
It's right?
Come on.
Come on.
Did you look up the actual proper history?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hammurabi.
Was the end of his reign? Was it like disaster or?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shoggoth-sized disaster.
So,
It's a nice equation, and if that's a...
He basically made everything Babylonian, and then war erupted, everyone turned. Invasion.
Okay, cool.
And brought it to its knees. Yeah, just as making
I do like it when you take actual history and wrap it into a story nicely.
Oh, what was that big inexplicable thing that just wiped them all out? An alien. That works.
Mm-hmm.
And it works within the lore of the world of the Dresden Files because of how Harry explained that mortals inherently lie to themselves about supernatural.
Well,
So they
that
rewrite
too.
shit.
And I mean, honestly, some of our stuff is kind of sketchy, right? Like I say, people didn't know how to, right? You got a lot of like, I don't know, hypothesis or whatever now where people are like, oh, based on this and that, we can now tell that was a tsunami. But at the time, they had no idea what that was. Act of God, all this kind of, right? So exactly, it's wonderful taking these vague things that were like, how did it suddenly just overnight? But yeah, but does a very good job of just being able to slot in these kinds of a thing and just be like, whoa, we know it was some big disaster. Might as well be this. Have you ever seen the Drain the Oceans? That's kind of a cool one, and it kind of does that where exactly it takes stuff that's like buried over. They're like, oh, if we just like drain, so again, all computer graphics and this and that, right? So they take all these like radars and sonars and blah, blah, blah,
you've
blah,
said
blah.
about this one before. Oh, wait, maybe I have.
Maybe you have. Anyways, and they're like, yeah. And they're like, so if we just take away the ocean and here's what this looked like, and here's where, it's like, it feels like this kind of shit, right? Like, yeah, we don't know what the fuck happened, like, 5,000 years ago. Everything just got suddenly, but yeah, we're just gonna and
Supposedly, we are to assume this is the same one. He's just been,
chilling for, yeah. Ours is the greatest civilization in this world. Neither war, nor plague, nor ignorance can shake its foundation. Look upon it and tremble. What the? That's a lot of tongue. Okay, I'm definitely not eating that chip after.
We're almost 4,000 years later, though. The White Council was just like, hey, bud.
So has this thing? Well, that's a good question, right? Has it been trapped all this time, or has it? What other apocalyptic destruction has happened between then and now?
Or maybe they killed that one and this is a whole new one. I don't know.
We don't know, right? Like, yeah.
It's twin.
Just weird.
We don't know.
Or this is like the salamander. This was like the new one is the little tip of the tongue
this
here.
This is the tail that broke off and, yeah.
Tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
Right.
I mean, it's got a bunch of faces there, so it could be.
Anyone, all of the above. So, yes. Now, only Dresden and his 3 little baby wardens are all that stand in the way. So naturally, let's go on the offensive. So, okay, he pulls up, let's see. I drink in the frigid air, drawing upon the energy every living thing around us has been storing up over the course of the winter. I'm sorry, so did you just, like, suck all the life out of, like, those little hibernating squirrels and, like, all the sap in those pine trees? Or, like, if you're drawing on all this stored up energy, did you just fuck every other living creature around? Like, it's that whole, like, you make a vacuum, right? And then everything is going.
I hope not.
That's a depressing way to
Is it not? I'm like, I just feel like Harry just sucked the life out of
I didn't think too hard when I read that line.
Yeah, and he's like, I was drawing upon the energy every living thing around us has been storing up.
I'm gonna vote pine trees just for my conscience.
Maybe not to the point of death, but you're just starting from scratch. Like, you were gonna survive all winter. Now it's like the first day of fall, and I just took all that extra energy, and you're like still in the middle of winter, but now you're.
So Punxsutawney Phil like sleeps in, doesn't see anything because of this. Like he's like,
or he's awake now. Yeah. Or again, they're like, yeah. So I don't know, but that was a little dark for me. I was like, Harry, you're all about. He's like, I just sucked it out of every
I don't know.
every blade of grass, every chipmunk is just like, well, we're fucked now. People are important, but you chipmunks, you can go fuck yourself.
You know what?
Right now, we got to stop an outsider.
I'm pretty sure most of I think 90% of the people who've read this graphic novel are like, oh,
yeah, right. I could not be alone in this.
Yeah, I was hoping it was just like, not necessarily like squeezed till death. It was just like,
it's a dark enough story. Why do we have to involve
photosynthesis?
Maybe, but again, right? Blades of grass are people too.
Let's go to a more fun note.
I mean, it could be anything organic. It could be the snow, right?
It does. He says
Life,
the energy of every living thing. So whether that be
are you a physicist?
vegetable,
Because there's energy there,
or animal.
but life.
I don't know. I'm going with pine trees.
That is living
pine
energy
trees much better.
too.
Yep.
Plant, animal, whatever.
Grass will never grow here again.
He should have
Farmers
borrowed
beware.
it from the Shoggoth, is what he should have. He knows it's there. Borrow the energy from the big trapped thing.
No,
Let's not wake it up.
maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say we've seen what happens before when they start. Like, hello, has Marvel movies taught you nothing? Don't.
So,
So
something
we're just
really
going to
cool
pound on the squirrels instead.
about Harry, Yoshima, Ramirez, and Myers. And I didn't get this on my own. I read it. Jim Butcher said it himself. But the four of them each are particularly talented at a specific element.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start to see this at least.
Yeah, really cool, though.
Harry's got fire.
Yep, Yoshima's wind.
Is it wind? Oh, yeah, okay.
Myers
And then she is
the
like
earth elemental.
No, water.
blows them away.
Ramirez is earth.
Earth. No, not Ramirez. No, the
Wild
Myers.
Bill.
Myers is earth because he brings the
Yeah.
He brings
According
the
to Jim
tower up.
Butcher, Myers is erosion of water.
That doesn't make sense because he brings the whole thing up in a big giant mountain.
That's what
Jim
I'm
Butcher
saying. So
about
was it just the ice he was? We just suck all. I got.
Because I wasn't sure if she was like
Yeah,
water, like ice, like.
No, she brings
wind,
the wind
one of them.
with his, because earlier in it he's
But
like
Harry
she's got
also
cyclone and
uses wind too pretty effectively, but
he does, but we know his big main go-to.
but he's
is
always
fire.
like burning shit down. So
Yeah, fire's his big one. He can throw a lot of wind around too, but he pulls out fire much more frequently than he does wind.
And Ramirez hasn't actually struck me as anything elemental quite yet.
Well, Ramirez, I know
he
will
pulls
see
out a
bit
gun like
more.
Harry does, but
Yeah, but we see it when they talked about it a little bit, but I know they talk about his power being more like liquid and shimmery, and he get like, because his little, like where Harry has like a sort of hard force field shield, he's like, Ramirez has like this green water, that stuff just kind of like absorbs into. So I would be much more inclined to think that Ramirez is more water and Myers is earth based.
yeah.
I mean, Butcher could have just remembered it wrong. It's like
And this is like the graphic novel, so it doesn't necessarily mean that it has.
something might have, yeah.
There's sort of. I feel
yes,
like there's
okay.
like loosey goosey rules.
My bad, I misread it.
Okay.
Right. God damn.
Okay, so what is the official word?
Yes, Harry wields fire, Yoshima calls up wind, Wild Bill manipulates earth and stone, and Ramirez's green disintegration rays are associated with the water's erosive effects according to the Word of God. Jim Butcher.
Which makes sense. We don't see much of his high mojo here, but we do see Myers and we do see Yoshimo.
Yeah, his is a little bit less obvious but based off of the other descriptions from the books, I was like, no, he always had this sort of
That's cool though. I didn't realize that.
not gelatinous, but what is the word I am looking? Nebulous kind of green energy thingy. But yeah, so yes, that was an interesting. I was kind of noticing that through this scene that yes, they all kind of have a specific.
Well, that makes sense before, like, because later when they're in awe of Yoshimo's power because she like does this huge thing and they're like, holy shit.
Well, that's the thing.
And I wasn't sure if it was like wind or if it was like sort of ice or sort of
I think
water-based.
we've seen this before where Harry, when he calls up like his giant fire spells and stuff like that, and it sucks all like the moisture out of. So I think he's got.
But they're also
kind
in winter here, so it was hard to tell.
It is, but I think that's what it is he gets this big heat blast, and she storms out, and we get this big like fog mist between his wind and her fire, and the mist and the snow and the melt and all that. Right. I think is what creates like this massive fog bank is the two of them doing it together. So yeah, he gets everything really fucking hot, and then she just blasts. And
That's
you get,
cool.
Like,
it's
this
like a
massive.
As a team,
storm
there's
cloud.
sort of like the four pillars.
Teamwork
for like
makes the dream. Yeah,
Wiccan sort of.
the whole array, your base elementals, all that. Yes.
It's a nice drawing. I like that.
Earth, air, wind, and fire. Yeah. Start singing
Earth.
Now.
Air. Wait, what? Oh,
Earth, air, wind, and fire.
I was thinking like the last Airbender.
Airbenders. I think some of them are coming to Comic Expo this year. So yeah, Harry makes a comment here. So Ramirez is all like, oh man, if we'd had you here in Palermo, that would have made a big difference. Like, I see why the council thinks you're crazy, man. This might just work. And he's all like, ooh, Ramirez is channeling like his hatred from, because he lived through all Sicily and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So he's channeling his rage, and he's like, normally I wouldn't say that's a good thing, but for now, yeah. Right? And he's like,
Get the job done, okay.
But Wild Bill isn't.
Yeah, he
Wild
got
Bill-
his head in the game.
He's had his confidence shaken. He just got very badly injured moments ago. He just had his hand crushed by a flying rock.
That's why I don't like it when Harry's all like, it's gonna hurt like hell, but you need to ignore the pain. I'm like, okay, easy for you to say, Mr. Lash.
Not everybody has a fucking coin behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, Harry did have techniques before that.
I know, but now
they were drilled into him from Justin chucked baseballs at him until he learned to write. I'm like, not everybody had. I'm like, yeah, you teach him, tell him how to suppress that, because I know, I say that to myself all the time. Right? You read this shit and you're like, yeah, next time I'm in pain, I'm just gonna work through it. It's only pain. I've tried telling myself that. No,
I say
nobody's probably ever told him before that you can actually work through this.
Thing.
Pain sucks, but do it.
But Harry also has mental and magical and whatever
fortitude
to actually, right? It's not, I mean, yeah, it's easy for us to say, but I'm like, man, I've tried to do that. And I'm like, no, if the pain is bad enough, there's a reason that it is occupying all your mind. And it's all very well to say that. I don't know, maybe Marines and shit learn, but most of us, but exactly. And like, unless you are given the tools to learn how to do that, and unless you build up a resistance to it, unless you exactly, just right now in the moment, they always do that. They're just like, just ignore it for now, it's just pain.
And I mean, like, and looking at it from another perspective, though, like, if Harry doesn't convince Bill here, because they're in like life death, like,
well, and this is the other thing,
and trying to snap somebody out of like, yes, no, we have bigger things to think.
Get it.
And it's true, like, they do, like, and if he doesn't get over his fucking shit right now. And he can. Why. He knows from experience, even probably without, because Harry has always gotten himself into shit, even without the hand shit before.
Yes.
Working through pain and doing magic.
Yeah, before losing. Yeah, no, all of those things are incredible. And you're right. For every movie, book, novelty, it works. You're right. They're like, we have to, and you're right. No action hero would ever make it to the end of a movie if little things like pain and stuff, right? They're all stumbling around with concussions and lacerations and broken limbs, and they just walk it off. But, other than the fact that obviously I don't want to see Harry or Wild Bill or anybody lose, but at the same time, I'm like, no, one of these times I just want them to be like, fuck you, I can, it hurts. You know what I mean? I'm like, they always find a way to get over it. They always find a way to, right? Same thing. They might not be trained for this, but the amateur sleuth always solves the puzzle because they have to get out of it. And, right, it doesn't matter that, the cops and the FBI and all that didn't manage to put together, but the guy who owns a bookstore is like, wait a minute. But yeah, I was like, one of these times I just wanted you to say and be like, you know what, Mary? How? Fuck you. This is my hand is busted. It's throbbing in his pain. I can't. I'm doing the best I can. Fuck you. So Wild Bill does suck it up. And then Carlos is making his usual, like, wow, this is awesome. They're in total disarray. So naturally, the big baddie's got to come out and be like, oh, really?
Very Magneto moment.
Very Magneto. There goes Carlos. Right? So, okay. But, I'm sure not dead, because they love to just fling these, whack him hard enough to send him.
Spine's on a real thing in fantasy.
Right. Skulls are not, right? Kathy, right?
Tell that to my fucking stairs.
Yeah, your stairs are in reality. Like, Temperance Brennan can get a bazillion concussions and she's fine the next day. Wardens can get tossed 2 counties over and they're fine. I didn't have to kill you. I just needed you out of the way. You weren't supposed to suddenly pop up again. And yeah, he's all calling. And I have to admit, these couple of scenes here were mildly, because Harry's talking in the thing, and I'm like, see, you're all like, come out and fight me. And I'm like, oh, I was scared and hide. I'm like, which is which? Because you're wearing the same fucking outfit.
No.
I can't. I'm like, oh, that's not the
color palette.
Wait, I thought that was. And the only, how you can tell?
This is Bravosa has a bigger belt.
He's got the scarf.
Scarf.
In this, like, in shot, I'm like, I totally thought this was Harry.
And Harry has bigger collars.
Yeah, he pops
he's got the mantle.
Yeah, he pops his collar more with. But yeah, it's like, here I'm like, oh, Harry's like, oh, here he's coming out to face, right? Here he is walking out amidst. I'm like, oh, no, wait, that's actually still the bad guy. Fuck. Yeah.
I do like, though, this whole, like, we can watch the sunset together. Yeah. Actually a mega threat to a vampire, but, like, it just seems so romantic.
You know what? Well, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, meanwhile, crazy lady with her sticky out butt is trying to give an update.
Shenko?
Yeah, she's got scoliosis.
Right? Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, some hip displacement. Displacement. Shenko has some hip displacement.
Is this where we make our public service announcement and be like, vaccinate your kids, people? Scoliosis not. We got rid of this shit decades ago. There's no reason for her to be like this.
I think she just needs a really good chiropractor and not.
Breast reduction would do wonders.
And don't listen to contemporary society. You're beautiful already.
You're beautiful. And those shoes, what kind of shoes are those for warfare? Come on.
You'd think, like, just take them off, bro. Don't you live here? You have another pair? Like,
right. You'd have kicked them off at least at this point, if not
I don't know. They're kind of strappy. They look like they could be dancer shoes. You can do a lot with a character shoe.
Well, I mean,
part of the setup,
granted, they're not like stiletto, you know. They're a little bit...
There's a wedge.
But regardless, this guy doesn't like her footwear either.
Welcome to the female perspective, boys. Isn't this everything you wanted to hear and more?
But yeah, this guy definitely doesn't like her shoes and just takes her out for it immediately. So once again, these fucking vampires have fucking cheated again.
Which is probably why they went to each side of the house first, where they're like, bitch, let's check this out
make
first.
Sure there's not people. Yeah. So we can't cross the threshold, or we can't do this, or we can't do that. So let's just bring in like fucking Nicodemus and his little tongueless lackeys.
I feel like the government should have to keep better track of their, like,
you know, you
fucking, like,
Green Beret training. What the fuck are you doing with your life afterwards?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, though, is, like, you're just, like, then letting those guys go out and get jobs of their own? Like, no.
Actually, a lot of cops will moonlight as security.
I know,
like,
but cops, your average cop is not, like, trained by the government to be the most, like, high-core killer, like...
Seriously, because obviously, again, if movies and books have taught us nothing, is every highly specialized operative goes out and becomes a mercenary once they leave the service. Like... Every single one of them.
Yeah, but just keep them employed forever. I don't care how.
It's like 50-50 whether they end up on the good side or the bad side. You know, like, how many mercenaries does Marconi?
Skill, you may as well use it.
Obviously, but when your only skill is dealing in death and destruction,
You've got your moral bound ones, and you've got your other ones that just want to fucking make money. Leave them
my point, though, is that the government shouldn't be, like, releasing them to society to get their own jobs. If you highly train someone to be, like, an M19 covert operator, get them another job for life. Employ them somehow.
Balances to actually put them in the place of that first, right? Like, you have to...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Do psychological evaluations
beforehand,
first, right?
Now that we've put you through the ringer...
On the job, though,
now
you're fucked up.
You know what? We don't want you in the army anymore. Your PTSD is way too fucked up. But you know what? Just go out in the wild world and let some maniac with a bank
Not
account
even joking.
dictate
It's
what you
literally
laissez-faire, people, laissez-faire.
It's literally part of the training to, like, be forced to listen to the cries of people being murdered and to just not care and shrug it off.
Yeah.
And then you release them into society and you're like, figure it out, whatever, be a busboy.
Right. Yeah.
Who cares?
What are you, some kind of socialist? God.
Like, yeah, man. It's,
Yeah, right? So anyways, yeah, the vampires have hired some fucking mercenaries of their own to go and do the shit vampires can't do. Great, thanks. And he managed to get some kills in.
I have called him the Merc in my notes, just so you know.
Okay, yeah. It takes out like 2.5 people in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, great, awesome.
Okay, rude.
And another one hostage.
Yeah, that's the half.
He's definitely efficient.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Don't listen to him, just shoot. Don't worry, I will. Oh, you think you're faster than me? Okay, I'll put down my gun.
He's also like the perfect mercenary too, where he's just like, oh, whatever, big, giant, scary monsters. I don't ask questions, just pay my bank account. Like,
and this is like, okay, so we were like, oh, do they know exactly? Yeah, because he's like, I gotta get to the cellar. So you know exactly where you're going with this shit. There's no question about, you guys could have just fucking bulldozed that house and just fucking dropped down into the basement.
Yeah, done.
Like, what the fuck?
Let it on fire, sent him all running, could have just agreed to Dresden's, yeah, sure, we'll let you walk,
take
leave.
the people and run.
Great.
Yeah, because Dresden
literally
didn't
just
know
want
what
the house.
Yeah, Dresden didn't know what the fuck you wanted yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But I love that they just got one. They're like, nah, we've got 50 bazillion vampires and a handful. We're just one mercenary is enough. We just need one guy to get into the house.
Oh, this is the testy-feely guy.
The testy-feely?
Yeah, he's also like, let's see what we can get away with inside.
Oh, he's the beta. He's like, we're just going to send one in, and if that was then we got a few more where we could send in afterwards.
And still, maybe they haven't told him anything. They just told him to make it to the cellar.
I mean, like, because this is spoilers to probably the next episode that we're going to do.
Scout.
Because we find out that he's not going to be the only one. It's just, he's the one that...
He's just like, I'm not waiting around anymore.
Maybe we don't have to pay all these other guys. Just send that guy. He looks strong.
I'm the only one with the talking part, okay? You guys just...
Don't learn your names. Even Princess Thug didn't get a name, so...
That's right.
So at that moment, these two vampires having a conversation with each other in the woods fully reminds me of those two guys from Pirates of the Caribbean where, like, they're trying to read the Bible. It's like, you can't read. He's like, yeah, but you get points for trying.
Right.
Just like these two idiots. They're like, yeah, just stand over here.
They're making our point. I don't get why he doesn't just burn down the house. It's called strategy. I'm like, really? I am not seeing the strategy in this.
No.
I'm with guy number one. Why aren't you just burning down the house?
Drag this out for no reason.
Because I'm like, sometimes you're right. You're like, oh, that's what, okay.
It
like,
all makes sense now.
Or at least it kind of, but I'm like, no.
It's really not justified.
It's really not justified at all. Any of it. The advance attack. You know there's 4 wardens, and you keep saying it yourself, a handful of fucking bookworms. You don't, it's not like you're like, for all we knew, there was 20,000 other wardens.
You could easily overwhelm them.
Yeah. I was like, no, you didn't need to test what the wardens could do. If you kill them first, it doesn't matter what they can do. Burn the house down, bulldozer it, whatever, right? Like, yeah, no, makes no sense. Meanwhile, Mr. McGuckin comes in, and I was like, now, back when the vampire reached through the window, it looked like literally he slit his throat open when he did that. But apparently he was fine enough that they get him away from the window, and Nelson's like nursing him back to health, and he's got whatever, and now he's like back on his feet to tackle this guy. And I was like, see, again, what?
Barely. The dude's not like making a run for it.
He's on his death rattle energy. Like, he knows he's fucked. So
yeah,
he's just
one
like,
last stand.
Let's see who I can take with me.
A bit, but again, I'm just like, it's where it's misleading, right? Because I was like, it seriously looks like he basically, I mean, not that he actually rips out his throat because there's no baby, but literally it looks like he slices him right across. So I'm like, okay, you can maybe save like a carotid or jugular if you're really fast and really on. No, it doesn't, right? But he's looking pretty bad, and he's already taken a couple, and now he's like, so I'm like, where exactly? Was it just in the chest? Was it just like a nick to the, like, right? He's obviously not nearly headless Nick here. It's not flopping around, kept on by like the last 2 inches of...
It doesn't, like the previous 2 frames, doesn't look like he has any weapons in his hands. Like, that just looks like it could be a box to the ears.
Yeah, he's just like sneaking up behind him, and
like, I don't necessarily think those red marks are blood. I think it's actually just a concussive animation.
Yeah, like I don't even. Oh, like when the mercenary.
The die you little shit, where he's like,
yeah.
I don't think that's blood.
I just take that as like grabbing
animation.
him around the head and shaking him or pushing him or something.
Yeah,
like
that
like,
particular.
Like twist the neck or whatever.
Yeah, right there. I mean, that honestly looks kind of like he's.
I don't care. Point is that guy dies, and Ashingo takes a chance to blow off Green Beret's head, which is, useful.
Thankful. Somebody about
but
time.
But the thing that really pisses me off is that Ashinko. She turns to Catherine and she's like, he knew what would happen and he did it anyways. He died to protect that thing. And I'm like, or you? What the fuck is wrong with you? You were the one that was like being taken hostage, you moron.
What happens if that thing goes other places? It's more than just that.
Yeah, but still, like, I don't know. She's like, it was all like his mind was just set on saving the Shoggoth. And I'm probably not.
You were actively had a gun to your head, so I don't know. Maybe it was for your benefit,
or as you said, just all of humanity as a whole. Like, I think he cares way less about the monster than just the fucking consequences of the monster being free, right?
Panic logic is not logic.
No. How are the wardens doing? I don't know. I lost sight.
They're gonna die. Oh, you need some help? I'm gonna run away.
Yeah.
It was like, when I ran out, I was going to get help, but I don't know, everybody just disappeared.
Here's the point about them just being a bunch of scholars and nothing else. It's like, they're really just like, in the face of panic, they're just like,
I shot all my bullets, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, zero decision-making qualities
You
at
gotta
all.
give Ashingo some credit. She does fucking kill him. She's like, fuck you.
Well, yeah, she does. She does.
Sure,
finally, like she told Anna to do fucking upstairs before. Oh, no, wait, I might, yeah. That's what's so annoying, right? She's like, just do it anyways. And she's like, I will. And he's like, no, you won't. She's like, okay, I won't. I'm like, well, big brave speech. Thanks, Catherine. Don't worry, I will shoot anyways. No, I won't. Just kidding.
So we're back outside, and Harry and the Baron are fighting. And the Baron quips about Harry's council sending him and his inadequate team in. And
don't
Harry
even know what
is
he's
smart
doing.
enough to sort of like, see what's between the lines here and goes, oh, we were betrayed because you know more than you ought to.
Impossible.
But you know
the
way
White
more than
Council
we did.
Wardens are incorruptible.
But that's the thing is, like, it is very fishy. It's like, why wouldn't we have been told what was happening? Why would you send the most, like, inexperienced people? Why would they know what's up and we don't? Like,
I mean, in all fairness, they keep trying to make the point that there's no one else to send.
which makes it sound very believable on paper,
Which
for
makes it
sure.
sound very
Yeah, but why would the
believable on
Baron
paper.
know that is the problem.
Well, that too, but if the White Council had known that it was a fucking outsider, you think they'd have been able to be like, okay, Morgan and Lucio,
You know
you
what?
know what? We
maybe-
can take you from where you are right now. This one's a little bit more important. Like,
Lucio's trying
you
to
would
figure.
think that like Harry has with his staff on the emergency like magical speed dial black staff with like fuck.
You don't get to see that for like 5 more books, okay? No, it's like Lucio's still trying to get used to like how to battle and her new like battle
bottle, sure.
new
New
battle
body,
boobs
sure.
and stuff like that. Yeah, they can't just send her out.
Fine.
That was a whole Buffy thing.
Why do I keep falling over?
every
center of balance is totally off now.
People would always make jokes about that because Sarah Michelle's stunt double was built slightly different to Sarah Michelle Gellar. So they would always make jokes about, like when Buffy would run into battle and all of a sudden she'd have like her battle boobs and all this kind of stuff because you would get slightly different silhouettes with the stand and then with the stunt double than with. Yeah, but I kind of bad that, yes, obviously they could have told their guys what they were going to protect. But I was like, it kind of makes sense because obviously they're like, well, obviously the vampires knew they wouldn't have to send somebody to go protect it. If the not like they're like, oh, we saw a vampire walking by. Let's just, like, obviously they knew, the vampires already knew they were attacking this place to get something. So obviously they know there's something there to get. Yeah, it's just, again, it's dumbassery that they never really tell their own people what they're protecting or how big
But that's why, like, it's justifiable that Harry's immediately like, oh, we've been betrayed. Because it's like, yeah, clearly, obviously.
Yeah,
But at the same time as they're doing this whole fighting thing, is that it has now become apparent to Bravosa and Princess Lackey that something's in the woods and it keeps killing our guys.
No, it only becomes apparent to her. She's like, there, and he's like, no way could Dresden have called for help. And even if he did,
This is why
no
you have
way
to treat
could
your
have
assistants just a little bit better.
Right. There's you surround yourself with good people that know things so that you don't have to be everywhere at once. But no, they never listen to the peons. And you know what? Yeah. So yeah, we have a problem.
Which is unfortunate. She totally takes the fucking hit for it.
And it's a good hit.
She's like, I'm gonna warn you. Oh.
I'm shocked, though. It's so uncommon for people that don't get a name in a series to die immediately. It's just weird. Like,
Take a
she was
direct...
set up for longevity.
Why doesn't she have a different colored
Right.
shirt? What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Don't worry, Thomas is fixing that.
Wait, who? Oh my gosh.
Dun, dun,
Who is
dun.
this mysterious?
Our favorite vamp.
You mean the mysterious cloaked figure wasn't the creepy guy that sent a Shoggoth into Catherine's care in the first place?
I'm
Because
not
it
gonna-
looked totally like him.
I'm not gonna lie. This is not how I picture Thomas. Not in the slightest. And I for some whatever reason, my mind's eye keeps seeing like sort of like a blonde angel kind of sort of.
Oh no, he's definitely dark hair.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna blame Anne Rice for this one. Because,
Fair enough.
Like
No, I'd say he's pretty actually close to what I have.
I was gonna, it's his hair. I think has a little bit more like this is more like shaggy style, and he's always got a bit more like curled. Like his hair's almost a little bit more curly, but it is long. Yeah, this is what did you say? Not even close or something like that. This is close to my. This is not exactly, but yes, this is within my realm of.
And I don't necessarily even listen to the descriptions of people. I just sort of attribute
I got my
quality.
own
And I
opinion.
do
Like, I
that
don't
sometimes
know.
too. With
He's like Armand from like.
Yeah, it's fine. I get the same thing.
I do certain ones, like no matter how much they like exactly
like a
right. You're like
cherub.
they describe him like blah 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 and black, and I will forever picture that person as a blonde or whatever.
Actually, it's probably from the Billy Idol.
Thank you.
Billy Idol had that bleach blonde hair,
He
so
does.
that's probably why I think that.
You get the punk Spike Marsters version of.
And that's why I keep seeing that instead of.
That's fair. That's fair.
But I gotta say though, for the artist, he like does actually do a good job of making brotherly chins and face bone structures
Yeah,
the same between the two
finding
of
a
them.
little bit of See, they are half brothers. There's something you can see there. Yeah.
I do like that line, though. I am Thomas Wraith of the White Court, and these wizards are under my protection.
Wait, what?
Hey, Thomas.
Hey. I also just partially because I am looking at this on my phone, so it is a smaller, but it just Every time I get to this page, it looks like he's threatening him with a candy cane. They're in the middle of winter. There's shit going down.
Oh, with the blood on it. Okay.
The blood on the sword. I always get a fucking
little
candy.
stripe.
Yeah, it's a little
Funny.
funny. But yeah, booyah, new player. You bring in a mercenary, we bring in a mercenary.
This concludes our episode 15.2, Venerated Shoggoth. Thank you for listening. You can find us online at freeflowrambling.com and McAnallys.ca. There we have links to our other podcasts, social media, and other fun tidbits. Please subscribe if you like what you're hearing, and please consider supporting us through Patreon to keep the magic alive and to see more content. We are Free Flow Rambling. Conjure by at your own risk.